So thank you everyone. Thanks for the introduction. So I'm going to speak a little bit about AWS, and I have a couple of my colleagues who are going to deep dive into some of the services that might be more relevant to you. But in a sense, what I'm going to talk about is uh, what are some of the offerings from AWS that you can look at? What are the differentiators that we bring to the market? How can it make your life easier, simpler, so that you focus most of your energies on provide services to customers rather than some of the heavy lifting around technology infrastructure. Leave that to us. We do a good job of it, right? So this is what we've heard customers and partners talking to us, right? Typically, what are the kind of business goals? Grow revenue, improve operational functional efficiency, and lower business risk. This is common. Any conversation that we have with any customer or partner, they say that this is typically what we do want to do as business goals. And so how can you achieve that? And I'm going to go into each of these points, right? So I thought migrate and free up resources, adopt modern application development practices, uh, gain faster, deeper insights with analytics. And I'm going to deep dive, ensure security, organize for speed and agility, and bridge skills and experience gaps. I think Vikas spoke about it, the last part, right? If you don't have the kind of skills, Creon team can help you build those skills so that you're able to service your customers. Right, so let's start with how can we help up with the migrate and free up processes bit. Okay, so if you are servicing your customers and you have a lot of people who are constantly monitoring resources, monitoring infrastructure, believe me, you don't need to do that with AWS, right? You can work with a very lean team, automate a lot of infrastructure management activities because the tools are available with AWS. Creon can also give you those additional tools, right? And that can free up a lot of resources at your end. Uh, this doesn't seem to be clicker. So, and when we speak about migrations, typically, customers. I spoke to one gentleman. He spoke about cost as well. I spoke to a couple of you. They talk about that. What's the commercial benefit of moving to the cloud, right? Because if you look at some of the hosting providers that provide this kind of infrastructure, uh, AWS can be expensive at times. Right? So what's the differentiator? From my experience, if we do the TCO comparison, right, this is what it will look. You spend certain money on your existing infrastructure hosting provider. It will be in this range, right? There won't be much difference if you just take it and move it to AWS, right? But it's okay. But that's not essentially where you guys can add a lot of value, right? And AWS provides you those managed services by which you can actually re-architect the platform, introduce serverless technologies, include managed services around databases, right? For example, you have customers who are running three-tier applications, web app, MySQL database, SQL Server database, right? If you start using managed services from AWS, you probably don't need to have like a multiple node database. A master slave configuration with auto failover can work very well, right? Look at our serverless technologies, right? If you're running batch jobs, you really don't need to have servers running to run batch jobs that run 4 hours in a day. And eventually, the kind of services that you give to your customers will reduce their bill, they will reduce your effort also, right? So don't look at AWS just like any other hosting provider or infrastructure platform, right? Because then the differentiator is not much if you look from a cost perspective. Look at AWS as a platform that provides a lot of managed services, provides serverless technologies, provides additional tools. And if you re-architect the customer platform based on your skills, based on your expertise, customers' bill will go down. Customers will be more than open to experiment on newer use cases with you, right? That increases your wallet share with your customer. And this is typically what we've seen with all deployments. Customers will start here, but as you start, including auto scaling, right? Start looking at different storage options from AWS, right? Look at serverless technologies. The cost that was here would eventually come to here for the same workload. And I think that is where a lot of partners are building their businesses on, right? This is a new way to look at stats, and customers are very happy about it because the amount of money that they save here, they will say that let's do a new project. Let's look at analytics, right? Let's look at data warehousing. Can I put this new project? Can you work with us on that, right? So we see new conversations opening up because of that. Microservices, right? So converting monoliths to microservices is another big area that solution providers are building their businesses on, right? No longer customers are comfortable with, I want to run an e-commerce site. Can you give me a large server? That conversation doesn't work anymore, right? I want to run an e-commerce site. How can I have a scalable, globally deployable kind of architecture across data centers using CDN technologies, analytics running in the back end, right? And why don't you build a microservice architecture for me? These are the kind of discussions that customers are getting with partners, and a lot of business opportunity around this, right? And the good part is, irrespective of kind of tool or technology, database technology, caching technology, CDN technology, analytics, we have those bits and pieces with us. You have to stitch it together, right? So that's where customers, partners are creating the business models around. Okay, this is something that I want to speak about. What partners have told us specifically in Delhi as well as Mumbai. While the initial projects with customers started around hosting, right? Deploying a simple web portal, website, one small SAP kind of business one workload. Because power of the AWS platform, conversations quickly moved around peripheral workloads like analytics. Everyone is talking about analytics. If customers are not talking to you on analytics, they're talking to someone else, right? Because once they have, let's say, a B2C or a B2B kind of interface that is running stable, they would want to make sense out of the data that they're collecting, right? So a big business opportunity, whether you're looking at real-time analytics, near real-time, batch, streaming analytics, the tools are there, right? It's just a matter of you going and asking those 4 or 5 questions to your customers that brings in additional opportunity to you. So if there are customers who are, let's say, running an e-commerce portal on you and they're not talking to you on analytics, they're definitely talking to someone else, because people want to marry data from their core systems as well as their front ends, right, to make sense out of it. Security. Uh, so I've been with AWS for 6 years. While the initial conversations used to be a lot around security, we see that customers are now, and partners as well, are getting that confidence that the security in the cloud is better. We have some large banks in the US who have made public statements where they went through like 6 months of evaluation and realized that the kind of investments that AWS does in security, even they are not able to afford that kind of investment. And because it is a cloud platform, it is a one-to-many platform, the level of security that the most regulated financial services, banking, or telecom customer gets, even you get, right? Irrespective of how big or small you're on the platform. It doesn't matter. Everyone gets the same level of security. Everyone has access to compliance certifications that are there. If this was not in place, you would have to pay auditors for getting security certificates, compliances, right? You would still do for the application stack, but infrastructure is taken care by AWS, right? If you are really interested in security, you should look at a website called atlas.aws, and it gives you country-wide security and regulations that are applicable. If you are addressing customers across the world, and you want to be prepared in your discussion with these customers, you should just look at Atlas, click on the country. It will tell you which are the regulations that are there. Is cloud permitted or not in that country? And we have created white papers actually, which talks about how AWS addresses regulations in those countries, right? So really strong around security, and this is something that we feel that you should not be worrying too much about. In fact, you should be super confident, and this is a big differentiator for AWS because this is not possible in some of the local service providers around infrastructure in the country. Okay. Global resiliency. If you have customers who are running with you currently in India, want to go global, they want to go to Southeast Asia, they want to go to US, Europe, they want to set up their setups over there. We have regions across the world. Uh, we have announced regions. These are available. The green ones are going to be announced. Bahrain is coming up, Cape Town, Jakarta, Milan. Every year we keep on adding regions, right? For people who are new to AWS, you know, uh, an AWS region consists of at least two availability zones, right? Mumbai is a region for us. Mumbai has two availability zones, right? So if this is a data center, right, this is a availability zone. So availability zone is a cluster of data centers, right? So Mumbai has actually two availability zones. It's actually three. We announced the third one in May. So there are three availability zones in Mumbai. And like that, we have 21 regions across the world, right? And continuing to grow at a very rapid pace. Uh, the same level of security, SLAs, apply to all regions and all services across the world, right? So it doesn't vary. Mumbai doesn't have like a better SLA or a lower SLA than any other region in the world. Uh, it remains same. This is too small, but I'll read out. So this is our services overview. I think it's got stretched. We have our core services, which is storage, compute, database, CDN. We have our security services, which is monitoring, control. We have our management tools that give you an overview of what is happening in your account. We have our availability zones, point of presence. We have our analytics services. We have ETL, data warehousing, business intelligence, Hadoop, streaming. We have DevOps, mobile services, IoT, machine learning. We have enterprise apps, hybrid architectures. We have some tools around migrations, and this portfolio just keeps on expanding, right? Just imagine the kind of effort that you have to spend to actually build some of these on your own, right? These are available as services. Just plug and play, try it out on your own. A lot of these services, if you're new to AWS, also come as a part of the free tier when you sign up for the first year. So if you want to try out, play around with it, it is available for you. And this is constantly expanding. So if I have to tell you, 90% of our roadmap is driven directly by customers. When we speak to customers, partners, and they tell us that we are facing some challenges around automating security, right? Is there a way that someone can actually monitor my account and tell me if there is a suspicious activity, right? We created a service around it called the inspector, right? So services, we will keep on innovating. We will keep on innovating on behalf of our customers. We will keep on taking feedback from the market, and we will keep on adding services to it, right? So that you know you can build on top of this and provide better solutions to your customers. Leave this heavy lifting to AWS. Uh, Wanted to speak a little bit about our startup customers. So when we started, right, cloud was a model such that everyone thought that best to suited for startups. Startups don't have a lot of money to put up upfront. They are trying a lot of ideas. They don't know whether it will work or not. So cloud provided the lower risk, right? And true to that, I think these are some of the biggest startups in the world. In fact, I think 100 out of the top 100 startups in the world, which are ranked by that by Forbes, are all on AWS, right? So if you look at, and these are some of the customers from India. So if you look at Book My Show, CleverTap, Redbus, Haptic, Practo, Pepperfry, Hangama, Nearby, Big Basket, Zido, Nika, Zeta, all of these startups are running significant workloads on AWS, right? So if you have a startup customer that has come and approached you with a certain business idea, AWS is definitely a fit, right? Uh, be absolutely sure that the kind of stack that they want to run serverless, they want to run containers, they want to run e-commerce sites, they want to run analytics. AWS will have the services, and you always have the scope to build on top of these to create solutions specific to the customers, right? Enterprise customers. So customers said that will enterprises adopt cloud? If you look at some of the big names in the world, Samsung, Coca-Cola, Vodafone, Unilever, Nokia, LG, Docomo, Philips, GE, McDonald's, Sony are all using AWS. Banks like Barclays are using AWS, right? So AOL, Netflix get categorized as an enterprise now because they are very big. What about India? Let's talk about India, right? So Tata Motors, HDFC Life, Bajaj Finserv, Lupin, Kane Energy, Alt Balaji, Micromax, Infosys, Jubilant. Enterprises in India also using AWS in a very, very significant way. These are the customers that have given us the authorization to use their logo, right? And we have so many customers who are already using AWS. A lot of these customers, some of the customers that are already using AWS could be your customers as well. That gives you an opportunity to go talk to them, provide that additional customizations that they're looking for because of your expertise. So partner with us, right? Talk to us, talk to the Creon team. We are here for networking. We are a $31 billion run rate company. We have millions of active users. We have 52% market share. And still we are reducing prices. We have reduced our prices close to about 70 times, 70 plus times in the last 12 years. We will continue to do so. We are a retail company at heart, which means that given a choice between making more profits and earning more customers, we would go for earning more customers by reducing prices, right? So uh, we are a retail company at heart. It's the Amazon DNA, and we can really help you scale your businesses. Thank you.